Whether it's grid overload, a winter snowstorm, or just a random the power's out, there's no need to jump into survival mode. Today we're going to talk about different ways to make the lack of electricity a little bit more comfortable. Hello everybody and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. And part of that is the fact that we rely very heavily on electricity in this country and others. And so we're going to talk about some different things that you can do or find in order to make the comfort level a little bit better when the power is out. These are solutions that actually work for most people. Everything is not going to fit everyone, and I get that. So just kind of take what does work for you and leave the rest. Number one is solar lanterns, solar lights. They have so many different kinds out there now. You can go to the Dollar Tree and spend a small fortune on them. And they're available just about any place that you go, just about any time of year. But right now is a really good time because people really love them in the summer. Now, I have these all over the place on our property and around the house because they give me kind of a little sense of, comfort and security no matter what time of year it is. During the winter time, they don't light up as bright or as long because we don't have a lot of sunshine here in the wintertime. However, during the summer, yeah, you could read a book out there. It's awesome. They recharge with the sun, so you can put them in your windowsills, you can hang them outside, you can put them on your deck, on your patio, and they provide hours of additional light depending on the quality, and depending on how much sun you actually get that day. The light that it projects will be a little bit different, but they project light for a long time. No batteries, no fuel. Just place them in a sunny window. That's all you have to do. I love the set it and forget it's. Number two, hand crank flashlights. I got these for the grandkids when they were little because this grandma doesn't buy a bunch of batteries, and they played with those forever. They're great in forts. They're great when they're supposed to be sleeping. They're great during a power outage because it gives them a little something to do. They're good for short term, for adults, but they generate light literally anytime. They're not reliant on the sun, which is nice. Anywhere, which is super nice. They're great for kids when batteries are dead. So you don't always have to have those batteries around in order to make it happen. Number three is a lifesaver for us. It really is. Battery powered fans. Now, we have the ones that you hook up to. We have Ryobi. A lot of our tools, our cordless tools are Ryobi. And so we have, I think, 3 different fans that will use those battery packs from the cordless tools for fans. They're fantastic. When there was a leak under the sink and I needed to dry it out sometime this year, I put one of those fans under there. Did fantastic. When the power goes out, it makes the air move, and it will typically get us most of the way through the night, They're just a great thing to have, and when you're looking at losing power in the summertime, those fans are phenomenal. They are definitely worth it. They're not very expensive. Typically, you can get the fan by itself for around $25-30. There's a couple different kinds, like I said. And then you have to look at the battery and the charger station too. So you might invest a little bit, but they're super resilient. They work really well. You want to look for ones that have a high runtime. If you're buying the ones that have the USB charge, definitely look for the high runtime. That's going to be important. Alternative methods for cooking. These are different things that you'll relate to depending on your situation, right? I, love fondue pots. However, if you want to use something outdoors, then pretty much most of them are safe outdoors. And that's a camp stove. That's a propane burner. That's a charcoal grill or a gas grill. I mean, there's all kinds of different options. And if you really want to have fun, a rocket stove, because that uses yard debris to build a fire. So it's great for cooking small things, There are all kinds of ways to do it. You definitely want to take a look at them. Look for compact methods. Look for ones that don't take a lot of storage space because those are the easiest to keep long term. A solar oven is another option if you're living in the right climate. To me, I know people are going to disagree with me. I'm not going to have something that won't work for me for more than half the year. As long as you have sun, then a solar oven works phenomenal, okay? So harness the sun to bake, boil, or even dehydrate. Yes, no fuel is needed, just a sunny day and some patience. I live in northern Michigan. I don't have a lot of sunny days and I don't have a lot of patience, but you may live someplace where they do work. Never forget your manual can opener, my friends. Super important manual can opener, okay? You want to have one. If you're getting them from the Dollar Tree, get 5 or 6 of them. I'll leave a link down below for mine. I have beat that thing up. It's all I use. I don't have anything other than a manual can opener. So definitely have a couple of those because you want to back up to your backup. Portable power banks are becoming kind of like a compulsive thing for me. I have a ton of them. I think that they may be part of my electrical use issue, but portable power banks are super important. I will have links down below for multiple different kinds, depending on what you're looking for. I have one, the NOCO, that will literally jump your car. Phil jumped a backhoe with it, okay? But I can also use it around the house. I can use it to charge my phone when we're out of power. I keep 2 of those charged at all times. I also keep 2 more portable power banks charged at all times for our phones. And then we have other ones, they're inverters, I think they're called, that hook up to those Ryobi tools some more. So there's all kinds of different ones that you can have charged up and ready just in case. They're fantastic. They keep phones and small devices charged, and they recharge via a wall unit before, or you can even get the ones, because I have one of these too, that charges by solar. All kinds of different options there. Number 8 is a propane heater. These come in handy when you live in colder climates or if it's cool and damp, that kind of thing. What was discovered by one of the Dazers in our Facebook group was during Ice-Mageddon here in northern Michigan. She thought she was hoarding mass quantities of propane, those little green propane tanks, or the tube ones. And I think she said she had like 15 of them. They only last 3 hours at a time. So she did have a Mr. Buddy heater just in case of an emergency, but those canisters running on high will only last 3 hours. So you want to make sure that you've got enough propane for them. Use with caution. They have ones that you can use indoor, okay? But some are designed for indoor emergencies. I do like the Mr. Buddy heater. I really do. Always follow the safety guidelines, and when applicable, make sure that there is proper ventilation because, yeah, battery or crank-powered radios. I have my favorite little crank radio in case of an emergency that is a NOAA radio, and you get AM and you get FM because it keeps you tuned into the world, right? You want some kind of battery-operated or hand crank. I do prefer those for emergencies. Radio, because it's important. You stay informed without the internet and the television. You just need a way to do it, and most of them have NOAA emergency radios included with them. So yeah, it's a good thing to have so that you are more aware of everything that's going on. Number 10, which probably should be number 1 now that I'm thinking about it, but water storage, okay? Water storage, and it's not just having water stored, but having a way to purify it and a way to filter it, if necessary. So stored drinking water. For under $6, you can get one of those big cases of bottled water from Walmart, and that's about 5 gallons of water right there. That's great. So when you look at that, you go, look at, that's me for 2.5 days. Yay. And if I get a couple more, then it's me for a week. And then if you get some more, it's, for the other people. The bad part about it is that they're not always super convenient to refill, so they're great for drinking water. The other things that you want to look at are 5-gallon buckets of water or water sources around you, or ways to purify the water that you get around you. City water is not always something that you can count on. So being able to purify and filter your water is important. There are all kinds of gravity-fed water filtration systems. They have a range of prices. They have mobile ones. They have ones that sit on a stand in your kitchen. They have little tablets to purify your water. You just have to follow the directions with that. There are multiple ways to create more water. Not only do you want the potable water, you want the non-potable water, which means water that you would not drink. Don't bother filtering the water that you're going to use for the toilets. Don't bother dealing with that kind of stuff. It's not necessary, obviously. If you don't have electricity, you want to make sure that you have water. We have backup power to get our well to work, but then I would have to do something to filter that water because it is very high in iron in our well. Everybody has different situations that they have to deal with. So water, super important. Definitely look at things like wool blankets and layered clothing. Did you know it's summertime here in the US, and it's a great time of year for garage sales, okay? I have probably 6 or 7 real, honest to God, 100% wool blankets that I didn't pay more than $4 a piece for because I got them from thrift stores and garage sales. If I have to use them, I will slip them between a sheet, and they are the warmest thing that you will ever, ever have. And don't forget about layering your clothing. Even if the weather is warm, starts out cool, gets warmer, layer. You know, it's all about the layered, right? So it keeps body heat in during cold nights, which is important. And it doesn't rely on power or fuel, just smart layering. So that's a great way to make sure that you're comfortable regardless of what happens. Next are solar battery chargers. I alluded to this with the other one, with the other chargers. These, I'll show you mine. It's right here. It's a battery bank that charges by putting it in the sun. So it's great if you have the sun, you know. You'll get a little charge. It'll take you quite a bit if you have the permacloud that we do in Michigan, but it's a great way to kind of harness some free energy for small appliances. Charges phones, flashlights, or radios, and it's great for multi-day outages. We have a smaller power bank. I don't think they make it anymore. Otherwise, I would tell you about it. And then we went to Harbor Freight, and they've got, like, it looks like a suitcase, only it's solar panels, and you open it up, and then you hook that to the power bank, and the power bank charges off of that. Different things to look at just in case, because being able to have that little bit of power for those communication devices or those, other small devices, it really makes it. A lot of people I know will use LED lights. They're called tap lights or puck lights, and they stick them to walls. They put them in closets or bathrooms for easy lighting. They're battery powered, but they last a really long time as long as you remember to turn them off. They're relatively inexpensive, so there's a link down below that'll show you, but you just go through and you give it a little tap and you have light. You have sufficient light to take care of business, Would I read a book by it? Maybe not, but I'm old. So see how it works for you. They're a great backup lighting source to have available. You don't have to use the stick, thing, the adhesive. You can just move it around to wherever you need it, and it puts that glow in the room to make it so that you're not walking face first into furniture. This one is important, and it does not matter if you are in the city or if you are in the country with a septic system. A compost or bucket toilet setup. These are important. There's a link down below. It's a bucket setup. It's a lid, okay? It has like a toilet lid on it. Line that bucket. Put some sawdust or pine shavings or something like that in the bottom of it. Put that lid on there. It's comfortable enough to sit on. A lot of people will use a pool noodle and put a slice in it so that it sits on the top of the bucket. That kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, but it works. But they have actual toilet seats that fit on top of 5-gallon buckets. And that is going to make your life a lot better than having all that stuff come back up in your pipes, because sometimes it just doesn't work. So if water service is disrupted, this is a safe way to manage waste. You don't want to just go doing your business all out in the yard, Keep sawdust or kitty litter on hand to help reduce the odor. That's primarily why it's there. It really does help reduce the odor. Another thing to consider is downtime. A lot of us are not used to downtime. Me, you're on a device, you're on your phone, you have the TV, you have the radio, you have this, you have that. You're doing a multitude of different things, all that require power. And so when that power is completely shut off, it's kind of like, whoa, what am I supposed to do with my time now? Now's the time to look at board games, books, some kind of entertainment, so that you're not staring at the power box going, yeah, it's not good. It keeps your spirits up, when the screens go black. It really does. Critical if you have kids or grandkids that are there, and it's a sanity saver during long-term outages. Having other things to occupy your mind and your time once you kind of get everything situated and you know where everything is. These are all super important things that will help you get through a power outage regardless of how long it lasts. There are a lot more things, but these are the ones that'll get you kicked off without breaking the bank, if you know what I mean. Check out the links down below. I'll link you to some other videos about power outages right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe. Stack it to the rafters, my friends. Do you want to feel ready but not panicked when the power goes out? Here's 15 different ways that we can make that happen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. Today, we're going to talk about when the power goes out.